4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Phenomena. Tiptoe through the tulips with me.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to
This one's explosive.
Airing the para-wild, not for the fair or mild. We're giving you the words that may only hurt for a second, but strengthen you for a lifetime.
You're listening to Talk Supernatural Radio, where we truthcast live from the UK to the US, up north to down under, Rhode Island to Easter Island, St. Louis du Haha, Quebec, to Batman, Turkey. And if you're listening, I promise you're right where you're supposed to be. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Heidi Linden.
And for those of you that don't know or even asked who the one is, I am the one in the one by the one, next to the one for the one. Here once again to blow your mind with unnerving reality, news, facts, experiences, stories, the words to live right by.
Tonight, we thought we'd spotlight and pound on some wild paranormal news and headlines. There's always something going on in the paranormal world, and we just don't hear about it in the mainstream media. So, our news stuff is in.
Yeah, it's sort of going to be like a whole episode of Rock or Reject segment.
Yeah.
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 I want to move to Batman, Turkey.
Isn't that cool? Batman, Turkey. That's the coolest thing. I'm like, who would name it? I like the St. Louis du Haha, Quebec. It's got some cool cities, man. All right, so first I wanted to thank everyone for all the dream submissions. It actually took me a lot of time, and I'm still not through all of them. But I did reply to a lot of them, so if you haven't heard from me yet, you will. I have a few more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope everybody understands, hundreds of emails. You can't just do that in 5 minutes and still continue life.
Yeah. I even got actually a few more after the podcast. I'm like, well, I don't do dream interpretations. I'm like, I don't do dream interpretations. Maybe.
Slackers?
Maybe.
Yeah. You're
calling our listeners slackers?
Well, they didn't do it on time.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't want
They should be punished.
How are you going to punish? You want to punish our listeners, really?
Well, I can't, so it's really irrelevant.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking, I don't want people thinking I do dream interpretation for a living, so don't keep sending them in. It was for the episode, and I just didn't want to leave everybody hanging, so.
Yeah, so I'll start handing out flyers on that now.
Oh, great.
I know somebody.
Oh, yeah. No, not.
This isn't Joseph.
So I am just going to answer the ones that we have, so don't send any more.
The coat of many colors.
Okay, so also, let's see. We did what do you call it? Paranormal Survivor.
Oh, the show, yeah.
The show.
Yeah.
So that's up on our website for everybody to see. We talked about it. We've been talking about it since, in March did we film that?
Last year?
Yeah. March last year, I think it was. It was either March or May. I knew it was a month of it.
I think it was May.
Was it May?
I think so.
Okay, so.
Yeah, because it was actually, I remember it being hot in the truck when I got there. But then cool when we left, so probably May.
Okay, yeah. Then it's been a while. But, so I have our personal segment up so that you don't have to watch the whole episode. If you want to watch the whole episode and you missed it, it's on Destination
Get your own TV.
No. It's Season 2, Episode 5. It's called Possessed. And we're the last segment, so I just have our segment up. So how do you think it went, though, watching it?
It's always weird to watch yourself, though.
I know.
That's kind of weird.
I hate it.
I thought they kept all the facts pretty close.
Yeah.
And stuff, so there was nothing that was like, what? It was like, oh, it's pretty
weird
much
seeing
what
it.
it was. Yeah, it's just.
I think it's more weird for me not seeing me on camera, which I hated it because I was 50 pounds heavier and I just look like a big balloon in the Macy's Day Parade. Hated it. But
I was heavier there, too.
yeah, weird.
Now, of course, we're sleek and lean, mean, fighting, stinking machines.
Well, something like that. But it was weird seeing them portray like the things that I went through.
Portray.
It was weird. So,
Contraire, my
especially when
friend.
they do a story of something I don't remember. So
Yeah.
you've told me about something that
Right.
happened. You guys will have to watch it and see what we're talking about. It's pretty freaky.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
All right, so we are going to go over some paranormal news.
Paranormal news, and in the news today.
In Johannesburg, a 15-year jail sentence was given to 4 women who killed their teen relative during an attempted exorcism. What?
Yeah.
Her name was, okay, let's see if I can do this. Senethemba Dlamini? I don't even know.
Delamine. It sounds pretty good, yes.
Something like
yeah,
that.
What you said sounded good.
They mutilated her body. It was discovered at her home, and this actually happened in 2012, and it just now, they all got convicted, so it took a while. But she was killed by her 2 aunts and her 2 cousins. The women told the court that they believed she was a devil worshiper and needed to be freed from her demons.
They freed her all right.
You don't beat somebody to death to free them. How about deliverance or prayer?
Well, it's a form of deliverance.
And
What they're attempted there, I think, was really to separate the body from the soul. And they did.
yeah, they separated the body from the body too.
But I'm just, well, continue with your story, and then I'll say all the pertinent stuff.
Well, the women feel that the demon that had once possessed her had actually shifted at some point to one of them during the exorcism. Mm-hmm. And so that the dark spirits or energy, whatever, sort of overtook them, and that's why they continued to beat her. They're blaming it on sort of like the demon.
Oh, from experience, we could say that's very possible.
Yeah, and I don't know what their
you
thinking
have to
was.
think, and we don't know these people, we don't only know parts of this story, but for 2 aunts and 2 cousins, 4 people were pretty darn convinced about the situation, enough to go to this extreme.
Yeah.
It's one thing if one person or even 2 coerce together to say, oh, here's what we're going to do. 4 of them did it. So I'm wondering, these people, the entire family's either incredibly whacked, or there was some level of truth to this whole thing that they felt that they needed to do this. We could research this farther to see if we can find out all the backstory of why they believe this.
Yeah. We should. It'd be an interesting case to research.
4 people? Now, how old are these cousins? Do you know?
One was like 19 and the other was 14 or something.
14, 19, and the aunts are probably, what, in their 30s?
Something like that.
Early 40s, something like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, I mean, why? So,
Right. I guess, I was taking the view of they're all nuts, but the way you put it, I mean, we've been through some really weird things. We've seen some really weird things.
What if they really, really believe this? And maybe some of the backstory is they've taken her to different places. They've taken her to medical things, and they did all this, and nobody had an answer. And maybe there was a level of danger for not only for them or for other family members where they got to the point where they're like, oh, we're going to do something. And it gets out of control.
But the problem is, I mean, if you don't have truth, so if you don't know Scripture, beating her to death, now just release that demon onto somebody else. They didn't get rid of the demon.
Yeah, you please the demon.
Right, that made them happy.
It's like, all right, it's time for a party, babes.
Well, I'm just...
Nothing like a good beating on a Saturday night, man. That's what I'm saying.
That's terrible. So
Beat
I
a
don't
neighbor, beat a
understand.
friend.
That's so wrong. Okay, I guess. Well, I
bet
don't know.
they had a bloody good time.
God, you're terrible.
It's wrong.
I'm afraid to talk because you're going to come in with some terrible joke, so I should just wait and let you finish.
No, I'm not that way.
You're so that way. You
I'm
just
not that
did
way
it
at
twice.
all. No, I didn't.
I don't even know what I was going to say anymore.
So you don't even know, so what does it matter?
No, I know what you're going to do. I just don't know what
You
I'm
don't know
going
what
to
I'm going to do. How do you know what I'm going to do if I haven't done it? I can't do what I haven't done unless I've done it.
Well, I don't know
what I've
what
done.
I don't know what happened with
You don't even
this
know now.
story. So we have to. I definitely want to
Nice
research
story,
it more.
Heidi. No facts. Cool.
Well, no, they won't talk about it right now. They just
I
got
know.
convicted. So I don't know.
They'll make a. Oh, you know what? That's going to be a movie.
Well, I don't know because
yeah.
Johannesburg, that was sort of like in Africa or something. So,
Africa.
I don't really know.
No, that would be...
No, that's not Africa. That's India. You just did India.
Yeah. India's fun.
Oh, it's fun to do that, I guess.
Yeah. If you're a cow.
If you're a cow?
Yeah.
Cows don't do that.
Cows have it good in India.
I know. Don't they worship cows?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird. All right. Do you remember when they had for a while, they had all those little cow statues that were drinking spoons of milk? Remember that?
You
that
sit
was
there
weird.
for a month holding a stupid spoon.
That was weird.
It's going to evaporate.
Well, no, I was doing it right there. I saw it on TV. It was weird. And everything on TV is real.
Yes. There's never anything that's not real. The truth is always... anyways, go ahead.
Well, the devil can perform miracles, too, just to convince people. So they had a lot of people praying to these cows. So, yeah, that's a crazy story.
News.
But my point is that they make people look bad when they do things like this because there are true people who we don't like to say we perform exorcisms because that's more of a Catholic rite, but ritual, R-I-T-E, not R-I-G-H-T. But I think that there's deliverance. You need to pray over somebody.
W-R-I-T-E.
But we're not writing anything.
Oh, just another right.
You're so smart. You're like an English major.
I am.
Wow.
I am that I am that I am. I am.
Well, what do you think? I mean, that's just going to make... It's just another chalked up to, those religious nuts and everything. And it's like they weren't even doing what the Bible told them to do. So they can't even say they were coming in the name of God. You can't do that. And, a lot of times when people go paranormal investigating or they go try to help somebody in their house, and we're guilty of doing it in the past, too. We think we have truth. We think we know what we're doing, and we go to help these people, and we made things worse because you can't get rid of a demon. You can't get rid of darkness without light. So you walk into a room of darkness, there is absolutely no way to get rid of it until you bring in light.
Well,
you have to have truth.
Yeah, I mean, I even seen stuff on that one show that we're on other episodes. It was like, and they're using sage and they're using salt and they're using this. I'm like, and where do you come up with these things?
Well, it's old culture.
It's old culture, but none of it has ever proven to do anything. And we've actually been down that road. No, it doesn't do anything.
Well, no, that's not true. See, what happens is a lot of times these demons will retreat purposely to make everybody think they left, and then they come back later and it's worse.
I mean, I think society or people in general have dumbed down demons and these entities as though, wow, we can just do this and that. Like, fallen angels in general, have been around a lot longer than we have.
Right.
And they're at a higher hierarchy than we are. They have more intelligence, more power, more knowing than we do.
Right.
And for us to come up and say, all we have to do is this, I'm like, really? Do you... Fallen angel or good angel, either one, there is a level of power there that you better darn well know what you're doing. And the only way you're going to fight fire is with fire, and you have to call on that fire, which is God.
No, don't start a fire during investigation.
And his angels who help fight those through you. You are just become a voice. Right. Everybody thinks, I can do this. No, you really can't do anything.
We can't do anything.
You are just a voice of God and his work.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We are a voice.
And not just anybody can do it either. Yeah. There, even in the Bible, it
you
says...
You have to be like me and have an S on your chest.
The letter S.
For Scott.
Yeah. When you said have an S. Like
an S. I have an S. A letter S.
I know. It just didn't sound right.
Or sneaky snake. Snake it like goes a wiggling, a hissing,
What are you talking about? Snakes have to do with the devil. What?
Not sneaky snake.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't like old sneaky snake.
All right. Anyways.
Makes too much. Oh, never mind.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so I'm just thinking that...
He goes wiggling through the grass. It tickles his underneath.
Are you done?
Yeah.
With the weird song?
It's a cool song.
That's like Tiptoe Through the Tulips thing. That's the part that you wanted in there. It fits.
I know.
I just think that people need to be careful when they are trying to get rid of spirits and demons. And Sage isn't going to get rid of a demon. Like in the episode that we were in a Paranormal Survivor, one of the stories they were doing that to get rid of this spirit. And when you're in a room of darkness, burning sage isn't going to get rid of the darkness. Light is the only thing that's going to get rid of darkness, and you have to have the light. You have to have God's word.
And we've had stories where people have gone down that road and done this, and they do have a level of success.
Right.
For a time.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
For a time. For a time, it's like, oh, things were great and wonderful. Let's go back.
Well, they didn't chase the devil or the demons or spirits away.
Right.
They just sort of hid and made you think it and makes you believe it. So, with us, we kept being unsuccessful and we couldn't figure it out. So it just drove us to find out what worked. And when we found what worked,
it drove a madness.
It did drive me mad.
It's a whole other realm.
All right. So speaking of possession, story number 2 happened in Ireland.
It's my island.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. An 18-year-old is in critical condition, plus 6 others. They remain in the hospital after taking the drug 2CB, which is like an ecstasy substitute. So this guy was described as being demonic, okay? He attempted to eat the pavement, and he acted like a wild animal, and he laid naked and drenched in his own blood.
I'll wreck your teeth.
Witnesses say that he acted possessed, and he made inhuman noises.
Does that make him a stoner?
Wonderful. Yeah, it probably does on a lot of levels.
If he's eating pavement.
So, people can say this is not necessarily spiritual, but I'm wondering, is it? Because the Bible actually does talk about medications and drugs and not being in your right mind. So whether he was, drugging himself up, and this is why he acted like this, or was he so drugged up that a demon did take him over? Because eating the pavement, inhuman noises, a lot of this stuff is characteristic of demonic activity.
Yeah.
So we don't really know.
Demonic activity is always about wrecking the human soul, the human body,
right?
The lifestyle, the destroyer. That's it's what he does, and so, yeah. Revelations 18:23 tells us, "For by the sorceries were all nations deceived." Now, in the Strong's Concordance, if we look up that word sorcery, it's translated from the Greek word
pharmakon.
Pharmakon. Which is pharmaceutical, ain't it? Yeah, right. The true meaning of sorcery, basically, it's the word, start over. Sorcery. The Concordance gives us the word pharmakon, which is the true meaning of sorcery, is a drug, or a druggist, or a pharmacist, a prisoner.
Poisoner,
okay? So, now, in 1 Peter 5:8, it warns us, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." When our minds are shut down under, drugs, alcohol, meditation, sleeping, the physical is shut down and the spirit is now more awake. The devil can get to us easily when we're shut down.
Well, yeah. So it's not just drugs. It can be anything. When people do meditation, now the Bible tells us that we should meditate, but that word meditate doesn't necessarily mean go and get in this different realm. It means more of focusing on God, something positive and spiritual. Whereas other meditation, they try to go in a different realm and try to communicate with God knows what. And when you sleep, which obviously isn't bad, but when you're sleeping, your mind's shut down. And like we talked about with dreams and night terrors and all that, so that stuff can be pretty dangerous. So when you take drugs, obviously that shuts your mind down too.
But look at, just the Revelation 18:23 when it said, "For by the sorceries were all nations deceived." So for most Bible-believing, reading people would look at this and they wouldn't think much of it. Okay, sorceries, witchcraft, stuff like that. But as soon as you research that out, and I always tell people, sometimes, we got the King James is the best we can do, but it is not perfect. We have to look at the concordance. So they're saying the drugs, if you will, or the medications, the pharmaceuticals, we can get this to the whole deeper realm of what really goes on.
Yeah.
With the poisons of the world or whatever. It goes on and on and on.
And for people who don't know what Strong's Concordance is, that actually will translate back to the original Greek and Hebrew.
And you can do it online. You've got tons of free apps that you can look up for Strong Concordance. You don't even have to pay for anything or buy anything. You can
you can Google Strong's Concordance.
Yeah, you can Google the words. And then you can even Google, you can even have it set up for no matter which Bible you have, you can bring it into that one and have it translate back to, it'll translate it for
really?
you all the way back. But Obviously, yeah. Because what it'll do is it'll say whatever scripture. Let's say it is Revelations 18:23. However it's worded in, let's say, the New Living Bible. It's going to take it back to what 18:23 says in King James. Then it's going to take you back to the original Greek.
Okay.
So that's how that works. Yeah.
Well, so, we got to be careful when we poison our minds. People say, oh, all these people in Colorado are probably really bad now. They're like, oh, man, now I can't get high.
What?
I'm going to get, the devil in me. No, we're not saying that. We're just saying you're susceptible, and so who knows? Maybe this guy, did get taken over by something. And, even in the other story that we were talking about with the aunts and the cousins, who's to say that there wasn't more than one demon around this girl, if there was at all, and it overtook everybody and made them do this? Like you said, they're
it's just
in
an
the
open
business
door.
to destroy.
I mean, the devil doesn't know our thoughts, but he does know our actions.
Yep.
He knows our actions.
He hears our words.
He hears our words, and that's why I tell people sometimes, never say things you don't want to have come true.
Judge Judy says you have one mouth and two ears for a reason.
What's that?
Yeah, you're supposed to talk less and listen more.
But why is the canal in your mouth so much bigger than the two little canals in your ears?
So you can be loud when you need to.
Then why do you have two nostril holes?
Why do you have two butt cheeks?
Whoa.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
This is way too deep. I don't think we should go. I don't think we can handle this today.
I don't either. I wish that was in strong concordance.
Yeah, okay.
Well, the FDA and the pharmaceutical companies and the media, they totally make us forget about natural healing,
Absolutely.
all the natural plants and oils and stuff like that.
Thomas Jefferson once said this. I should use his voice because I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
If the people let the government decide what foods they eat and what medicines they take, their bodies will soon be in a sorry state, as they are souls of those who live under tyranny.
That's such a cool... There's so much to that.
There really is. And that, folks, if you don't believe, and this kind of borders back into the conspiracy thing, but if you don't believe the government controls what you eat and what medications you're taking...
Quiet, the men in black are going to
I know,
come.
they are. Yeah, someday we won't be on the air anymore. But, just think about it, how they push in vaccine time and this food and that food. And there's other countries that don't do some of this stuff, and there's things that we eat and stuff that's in our food to other third world countries, it's illegal.
I know.
And we could name them at another time, but here it is. It's like, why? Because they're like, oh, no, that stuff's junk. Well, why are you feeding it to your people? Because Americans will do anything.
And that's why they don't have the diseases that we do, Yeah. So, because they don't put all that junk in them. And it talks about their bodies will soon be in a sorry state. Well, yeah. Look what's happening to everybody, And so are the souls of those who live under tyranny. Whoa, that's deep, man. TJ knew what he was talking about. So he said that even 100 years before there was ever an FDA or the government, he didn't consider them ever taking over our food and stuff. So that was sort of interesting. In Psalms 104:14, it says that God has given us herbs for the service of man. So herbs and all that stuff.
I know. That's what Colorado's saying.
Yeah, I know. They're leaning on that one. I know.
See, I knew it was scriptural, man.
Told you God says get high. No, not saying that. And that's a whole different show, a whole different debate. Great. But, okay. So another story is, we talked about the Fox TV show network doing that TV show Lucifer. He gives bad a good name. That just still makes me so mad. And our son's friends like, oh, it's just a show, but they're relaying to young people, and they put it in your minds that bad is okay and it's good.
That bad is good. And the Bible tells us that in the last days that they'll hate those things that are good, and they'll tell you that the bad things are good and the good things are bad, and that's just where we're at. So now we're going to have a show, and the show's out there about, Satan. Oh, look at here, Lucifer. Yeah, he's going to make it look cool. And
I think his name's Lucifer, Morning Star, or Night Star. I forgot what.
Morning Star should be.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Because that's his name, I think.
His name's not that in the Bible.
No, I thought there was something referring to that.
Yeah, the Morning Star or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. But now they're coming out with a TV show, The Exorcist. And it's going to be an actual TV show. And I'm thinking, okay, so there are all these dangers, you know. First of all, you're accepting the devil. We should be rebuking him, not putting him on TV and giving him a show.
This whole thing just makes my head spin.
I know, people are stupid. They're giving him attention, which, I mean, any even paranormal or investigator knows when you give a spirit attention, they're going to grow and grow and grow.
You didn't even get it.
Get what? Because your head's spinning?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You're just like, yeah, no, and just kept going. I'm like,
well,
wow.
Yeah, I get it now. That's funny. That's a good one. I wonder why you're looking at me like, what? Scott, I'm so used to you making stupid jokes. Sometimes
Stupid?
They just go over my head.
Stupid jokes?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It was actually fit, but I'm so used to stupid ones that I missed some of the good ones.
Just like, oh yeah, and just kept going. You're all into it. Yeah. I'm like, that was a good joke. And you're just going to blow right by it with no recognition?
Okay, wow.
See, the listeners can't speak back right now. They're not saying anything. And if they are, I can't hear them.
It was good, Scott. You're really good. You're smart. You're good looking. You're strong.
That's enough of the facts. Let's continue with the story.
Well, anyways, ghost hunters know not to give spirits attention because when you give spirits attention, they manifest more. And that's what people are doing when they're watching these shows. You know, and they're going to glorify him, and they're going to mislead who he really is, and they're going to give him a false sense of, I guess, what's right and what's wrong, and then they're going to desensitize to evil.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That desensitization is. And doesn't it happen to everything? I mean, let's look at what we watch today, what we eat, what we drink.
And we've talked about this before, too. When I was little, I mean, I was traumatized by the movie Jaws. Now it's on, like, you know, Sunday afternoon for everybody to watch, and no one cares.
It's a family movie. Look, the guy's getting munched.
There's so many scary things out. People are like, oh, yeah, they got to keep outdoing each other in these movies, making it worse and worse and worse.
You always go through little levels, you know, of different things being scary and all different kind of I don't know how I say, you know, it's like we go through phases. Wait. In movies.
I got put lipsticks on. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want my lips soft for the podcast. All right, I'm good. Keep talking. I feel better. Hi, this is Heidi. Okay, I'm good. Okay, go ahead.
Doing.
All right, my lips feel good
it's
now.
It's about time you start taking this thing a little more seriously.
Okay, Mr. Head spins around. All right, go ahead.
My head was spinning. I couldn't help it.
My lips feel really good now. I feel cool. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heidi's got cool lips.
Oh, thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. All right, so now they've got another show, too, and I don't know if it's already out, but it's called Outcast. It's about this guy who's been plagued by demonic possession all his life, and with the help of a preacher, he's going to embark on a journey to find answers and regain the normal life he lost. Well, I'm thinking, well, is he still possessed?
Yeah, if he's still under the influence, he's not going to have much of success in real life because that would keep him from being able to actually do that.
And, you know, as much as people don't like to admit this, like 9 times out of 10, when someone sees something on TV, they instantly believe it. They don't, you know, say, oh, maybe not. I saw it on TV. It's got to be real. And then, you know, and there's some people that don't, but a lot of people do. So now they're going to see these shows.
The internet, the TV, the radio. Yeah. Someone said this, someone said that. Unless, of course, we're saying it.
Oh, then it's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always encourage our listeners to look up the things we talk about, to research it themselves, you know, form your own opinion. So, but, you know, and then, you know, with this movie now, they're giving so much false, I guess, innuendos, people aren't going to know what's real anymore. So, bad. Okay, story number 3.
Which would be the third story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, you're so smart. Mm-hmm. There's a new movie out called The Boy. Very creepy synopsis. But, you know, what's interesting is I'm wondering if this is based... I remember last year our son had a story he had to read for school, and then he had to, like, write about it. And I think it was called The Boy. If not, it was about almost what this story is about. And it's a woman who takes a job as a nanny for an 8-year-old boy, and she learns that the child of her new employers is a life-size doll. They care for the doll as if it was human. It's helping the couple cope with the death of their son 20 years earlier. When the nanny violates a list of strict rules, a series of disturbing and strange events occur, leading her to believe that the doll is alive. And when our son had to do this story, and it was just like a half of a page, it was really, you know, compressed, but I'm thinking, this is creepy. Like, this is, and the story ends, like, you don't know if this doll's alive or what. And I'm thinking, why would you have my kid, my 5th grader, read this? I'm like, it's really creepy. But, but what do it reminds me of the whole Annabelle thing. Do you think objects can be haunted? What do you think? I mean, we know that, people can be. And
I think anything can be used for, well, all right. I mean, if we look at biblically, we can look at, though not an object, but we had donkeys talking.
Right.
In the Bible. Now, I believe the adversary can use things too.
But didn't he turn his staff into snakes?
Sure. So I believe that anything can be used under God's purpose. And we say God's purpose because sometimes God's purpose is to let Lucifer do certain things and allow him certain liberties for the ultimate purpose to God to complete what he's going to do.
Right.
So, yeah. Do I think the doll can be used, or a doll could be used for something like that? Sure. Why not? I mean, there's really nothing in this world that God cannot control or allow to be controlled by something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can use a Ouija board and things can
sure,
happen
and that
with that.
works. Why not?
So why not a doll,
right.
huh?
It can all
like
be
this whole Annabelle doll thing, same thing.
Consider it more like a tool instead of...
Now, what do you think? Do you think the spirit of a dead person could enter a doll? I don't believe that. Because I don't even know if I believe in all that, spirits, people, or if it's just demonic. So, I don't know. I'm not going to go see this movie because it looks too creepy to me. I mean, it looks like a good movie, but I think I'd be too creeped out. I don't watch scary movies, so. All right, story number 5. Urban legends, okay? There's truth behind every folklore. Like you hear, the Bloody Mary. I mean, there's actually truth behind that. It's supposed to be really about, I think it's like Queen Elizabeth when she lost her babies and then she had like a lot of miscarriages and then she ended up killing a lot of people too. So, Bloody Mary. But there's a lot of truth behind every folklore and legend and stuff. And then there's one, the Green Man in Pennsylvania. Now, the legend is horrific, disfigured man, no face and glowing green skin is seen wandering the streets at night. A lot of people, lots of people. And even the police were scouring the place like, who is this guy? And it's actually a man named Ray Robinson. He was electrocuted at 8 years old. He lost his eyes, his nose, his ear, and his arm.
Oh, wow.
And the electric shock damaged his skin so bad, it glowed almost like a green. And he did, in fact, walk the streets at night because he couldn't come out in the day because obviously people were freaked out and scared and would stare at him, and he was just too embarrassed. So, now you've got this true incident, and it's like the telephone game. It's like, there's this scary thing, and he's a ghost, and you only see him at night. And that's how these stories snowball into fake stories. If you research it and you look a little more, you're going to find something real.
Oh, so is Frosty real or fake?
I think Frosty's real. I wouldn't know. We're in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's not getting any snow. So I wouldn't know.
Nope.
But everybody else is. Okay, another one. In February 1977, this is one of my favorite stories. It's a true story. There was this nurse who was visited by a spirit of a murdered coworker, and she solved the murder of her coworker. Okay, so I think her name was Teresita Basa, and she was a respiratory therapist. She was found murdered.
Whew, that's a breathtaking name.
Oh, my God, respiratory therapist. She was on fire in her apartment. Okay, so she was murdered. She was on fire in her apartment. Police found her with a butcher knife lodged in her chest.
So you're telling me that Teresita was hot.
And so her body was under a mattress and piles of clothing on fire. Police couldn't find any clues or motives. They could not. This chick was like really popular. She played in bands in Chicago. This was in Chicago, and she played in bands and everything. And everybody liked her because she was so popular. They couldn't find anybody that disliked her, and then they had a hard time, finding anybody that wanted her dead. So it was weird. Okay, but now side story that bridges into this. Her name was Remy Chua. Okay, she was another therapist at the hospital, and her coworkers thought she was acting really odd. Now, she did not know Teresita. Okay, they have the same nationality, though. So, okay. But their co-workers said that Chua began to take on the characteristics and traits of Teresita. And one day, Chua sat down in the little cafe at the hospital where they eat.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that cafe, yeah.
Not particularly that one, but
Oh.
Okay. So after getting her food, she sits down at the table, and all of a sudden she jumps up out of her seat and starts screaming and runs away in a panic. And everybody, noticed this. Well, later on, she says she actually saw the spirit of Teresita.
Teresita.
But no one really knew what was going on. So shortly after this incident, Chua's closest friends noticed that her personality began to drastically change. She started liking different music, sitting in the same spot where Teresita usually sat. She was singing songs that Teresita performed in the clubs at Chicago. Oh, weird. And
Strange.
yeah, now it gets really
very
strange.
strange.
But what's going on is the employees were irritated because they thought she was sort of mocking the dead friend. They were they were irritated. So they all went to the supervisor. They got sick of it. So the supervisor calls her in to discuss it. And this chick, Chua, she was totally oblivious to what they're talking about. She's like, no, she doesn't know what they're talking about. And now there's another encounter with her supervisor. She flew into this tirade about working conditions. She got super mad over nothing. Mm-hmm. And she was told to take a few days off to settle down. They thought she was losing it or something. Later, she was fired, though, because this behavior of hers kept going on. These tirades and acting like someone she wasn't. And she was even dressing like her, in the types of clothes. And she continually broke the rules, so she got fired. The night that she got fired, okay, she's in bed with her husband, and he's a doctor. And he woke up because she was speaking in a different language in her sleep. So he sort of woke her up, find out what's going on, and she says that she's Teresita Basa. And he's like, oh, okay, he thought she was talking in her sleep. He's like, if that's true, who murdered you? And she obviously didn't answer him. But the same incident happened 2 more times. It happened 3 times. And the 3rd time, the spirit gave the name of her murderer. Alan Showery. He was an orderly at the hospital. And the spirit told this husband that we have proof. The spirit described in detail jewelry that had been taken from Teresita's apartment, and very specific jewelry and detailed and everything. If they could find the jewelry, they would find. So she gave the name of this guy. So they go to the cops, and the cops are like, okay, this is really weird. So obviously they were investigated.
Sure, yeah.
But they go to this guy's house. He wasn't there, but his girlfriend was there, and she was wearing one of the rings that was described by this Chua chick. And all the other jewelry was found in the possession of the girlfriend. And they actually almost dismissed the whole case because of the whole supernatural nature. But this guy ended up making a confession and pleading guilty. So, and then
you only got 14 years in prison?
Yeah. And then...
You kill somebody, you only get 14 years?
Yep.
Is that...
I don't know why.
14 years, and that's the max. That's the max what he got? So if he's a good boy, he gets out 9?
That's how the system works. Crowded prisons and all that.
Huh.
Chua reportedly returned to normal and went back to work in the medical field. Isn't that crazy?
That is cray-cray. That is so cray-cray.
I know.
Wow, it's just a deadening subject.
Well, guess what?
What?
That's really the end of our...
Yeah, but get a short one. People are going to freak out. You know how people go. They plan their entire Friday around this, and we have a short one.
That's okay. If we have a short... We had a long one last week. We went almost a half hour last week over.
Yeah,
so
you're going to tell people that? You think they're going to be like, oh, that's okay because it averages out? People don't look at it that way.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
And we talk about anything. Let's talk about Flint, Michigan. We want to talk about some more water things with them. Hey, I know. Did somebody from Australia actually email us or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said something. What did they say?
I don't remember. You're asking
you
me.
not remember? You
don't remember? You're asking me, so you don't remember.
I remember that, and you're like,
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
okay.
What'd they say?
I don't know. What'd they say?
I don't know what they say. You read it.
No,
I didn't read it.
I read it too. You should remember.
All right, what'd you say? listener.
Someone from Australia.
Yeah, they did. It was cool. Yeah.
Someone from Flint, Michigan actually emailed us.
Yes, they did.
And confirmed that story and said people are really, really angry.
It should be.
Yeah, and that no one's addressing the whole military issue.
Yeah.
Maybe they're too afraid, which I get.
Oh, man.
But their water's tainted and they don't. People are being poisoned for a long time. They don't even know what's going on. They don't have fresh water now.
Yeah.
How can a city? It's a small town though, but. I mean,
Exactly.
we don't think about that. We don't think about running out of water or something.
Oh, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that sort of thing, I think, nationwide. California, with some of their droughts and all that have been going on and different things, there's going to be all of a sudden there's going to be water problems. There's no better way to move people around, eliminate people, or shift them around in the country than eliminate their water.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take their power away and they'll find a way, but boy, take their water away. I mean, you got to have it. It's not an option.
Well, maybe they want Flint, Michigan for something and trying to clear it out. Who
Something.
knows?
I don't know.
Because who wants to live there? I mean, everybody's going to want to move now.
I mean, I don't know.
There's been towns that have been deserted.
I'm sure there's
because
probably
of
a
it.
few people in Flint that maybe had some options of getting out and saying, you know what, we can't be dealing with this forever. I can get a job transfer, I can go move someplace else or in the nearby city or something, and just said, forget this. There's going to be a handful of people that aren't going to stick around for it.
From the news stories and actually that email that we got, it's overall a lower income town because it's so small.
Really?
Yeah. So
that doesn't
people can't
surprise people.
afford
Exactly.
to move, and so
Sure,
they're just going to kill them off one by
A
one.
little experiment by the government.
Probably.
I wonder what happens if we do this or that. How much control do we have? Wonder what we can do. I mean, they had the government crawling in there many, many, many months before any water issues.
Yeah. Why?
Why? You think it was a coincidence? No.
They knew what they were doing.
I don't think so.
I know what I want to talk about. I
What?
can't think of the cities, but I will bring it up next week. But there's a couple cities that are, since the 90s, have been hearing these strange... Oh, New Mexico is one of them. These strange hums. And it lasts...
Oh, the giant ones that you can hear outside?
No.
Oh, not those
No.
ones. The horn-sounding things?
Yeah, not that.
Okay.
But I know New Mexico's one of the places, and I can't think of the other place, but it's a constant hum. And a lot of people are hearing it, and they can't figure it out.
From the ground, from the air?
From the... Oh, you know what? I don't know if it's... They don't know where it's coming from, so they can't...
And how well can it be heard? Like one person hears it, or whole city, or is it...
In the New Mexico, it's a good portion of the population can hear it, so... and I don't know if that means if you and I were driving through, we'd hear it, or if it's, So I'm wondering, is it
Another
some kind
little
of
test.
experiment, or...
Yeah.
And then the other place, actually, they said it's coming from the ocean. And they're like, well, maybe it's the whales or the volcano making humming. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I wonder what kind of experiments are going on
Sure.
there. You should call Jesse Ventura,
Jesse
conspiracy.
the Body Ventura.
He'll know. I wish that he saw that show on so we could find out.
He's
He'd go
hiding.
check it out. He's in hiding in Minnesota.
You throw out so much. It's not so much what he did in the show. It's more of, what someone like that knows.
Yeah.
Too much. And eventually we'll be living with Jesse.
He's probably living with Randy Quaid and his
Probably.
wife in Canada or something.
Yeah.
Because they're all hiding out.
Could be, brother.
Hollywood whackers.
Could be.
What do you think about... You remember when the Twin Towers came down?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was... Prior to that, an album was released by these rappers. And in the background, it was the Twin Towers. And it looked like a plane was going into one of them, I think, and they were coming down.
Really?
And everybody was like, that happens a lot. You see these movies with something happen, and then down the road, very soon after, that actually happens in real life. And I'm talking huge, major tragedies. And a lot of people think that, it's sort of like either it's a little joke behind the, the men that are in power, or weird kind of prophecy. Or what about people dying in threes?
Yeah.
What is up with that? See,
True.
it happens all the time, famous people die in
It
threes.
happened when we just
David
this last-
Bowie, the guy from the Eagles, right?
Yeah, and then and Fish.
Fish from Barney Miller.
Yeah.
So
of course,
those
he was 94, but...
But, yeah. But,
He's a
everybody
fish,
dies
man.
in threes. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
You want to know something else really weird?
What?
Miley Cyrus
What?
is engaged again to Liam Hemsworth. And he dumped her because she's so nuts, and somehow he's back with her. That's weird. That's probably Supernatural. She's nuts. Can't believe that. And X-Files came out.
Yeah?
Yeah, I DVR'd it, so I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to wait till it's like a 6 series, so I
Yeah.
can watch all at once. So,
That's like 6 hours.
yeah, well, that's why we're pre-recording, because I'm going to be sick for a while, having surgery, so I'm going to be laid up in bed, binge-watching, until I go in the show hole, and then I won't be able to watch it anymore.
Show ho?
Show hole. That's when...
Oh, show hole.
Yeah, but you got to say show hole.
Why do you say it that
That's
way?
the way the commercial says it. Enter the show hole. Because once the binge watching's done,
Yeah?
you don't know what to do. You fall into the show hole. You don't know what to do.
I didn't see this.
You never saw the commercial?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I bet you- I
You're
bet
watching
everybody
too
else
much.
knows.
You even know the show lingo. The TV
Binge
binging, watching.
Well, whenever I'm sick, that's what I do. I binge watch a
It's
show.
difficult to do a lot, yeah.
So, there you go.
I guess I'll just carry the load of this family on my shoulders.
I can't help it. I don't... What
You can't help it. Everything can be
That's
helped.
why it is pre-recorded tonight and not live, because I will probably be
We're
in bed
live.
sleeping, or I'll be binge watching.
Yeah,
So maybe I'll start Lost again. That was the best series ever.
it was.
I liked it.
But then you found it. I really lost it anymore.
It was lost, but then it was found.
That's right.
All right. So I know it's early.
I know.
But
We
don't
can
have
drag it
anything
on a
else to
little
say.
bit longer. We can say everything twice. We could say everything twice.
I think we're done.
I think we're done. That'd be fun. Hey. You know me?
Yeah, say goodbye.
Well, until next week, don't lose your mind or sell your soul. Bind the spirits, rebuke the foe.
Hey, this is Heidi from Talk Supernatural. You know I like to talk, so let's keep the confab hot. Follow us on Twitter at TSR Parapod. And check out our Facebook page, Talk Supernatural Podcast. We air for you, so hit us back. We'd love to hear what you think of the show, too, so email us, talksupernatural@gmail.com, and we'll give you a shout-out on air.
Check out more from Talk Supernatural Radio. Head over to tsradio.net. You can listen to TSR on iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or would like to know more on spiritual afflictions, hauntings, demonic influence, check out Scott and Heidi's SWAT resource site at EPH612SWAT.com.
This world's a tortured place to be. So many things to torment me. And as I stumble down this road, it takes a toll. I need an intervention. But I can see it coming. Some things just can't be explained.
And that's all, folks.